Hello, this is Nikki in Niagara coming to you from Niagara Falls, Canada. And today I am bringing you my latest haul for the month of April 2021. And these are my coloring books and coloring supplies that I have purchased this month. So without further ado, we will get straight to those. Move this stuff. So the first thing that you probably saw there in the pile was I got the 120 Brute Fooner oily colored pencils. These are the square ones. They are still in their case. I need to get them out, put them in proper order, and then swatch them before I can start using them. And I'm not going to open it up because you've all seen these pencils for a few months now. So finally have my set. A lot of these items came from overseas. That one came from AliExpress from China. So yeah, I'll tell you when they are. Then next I got I Heart Koalas. This is the latest in the koala in the I Heart series. This is one of the small ones. These are the ones I like the best. It is single-sided. The backs of the pages have a series of different patterns to help cover up your bleed through if you're using markers. So there's a variety of all sorts of different kinds of pictures in here featuring koalas. So they're simple to more complex, a whole variety for everyone. I like these books. Then next I got the Nouveau Fairies special. I didn't receive this one. I received the current one, and this one had been skipped. So I contacted them and asked them if they would send me another copy since I hadn't received it, and they did so gladly. And so now I have the Nouveau Fairies edition of Coloring Heaven by Herb Leonhard. Gorgeous pictures. I love his work. So I was pleased to be able to get that one. Then next I bought myself a pencil case. This one's a little different from any that I've bought before. It is a 200 case. So I got this specifically to put my 180 Brute Fooners in, which haven't arrived yet from China. Last look they were at customs, so next month, at the end of this month, you'll be able to see those in this. Next up, I have a couple of PDFs. I got the Secret Village number 3. Last month, I believe I bought number 1 and 2. I haven't started doing anything on this yet, but these are copies on plain paper of all the pictures in the book. So I find one I want to do, and then I open up the PDF and I print it out on the paper that I want. The other PDF I got this month was Tabitha Begima Solova's new book, Vintage Papers 4. I don't have any of her other vintage papers books. I would like to get them, but I thought since this new one was out, I would start with it. Then my sister sent me a few things, and she sent me this pencil case, which is full of Prismacolor Scholar backups for me, because I have a set of these, and now I have pretty close to a set of backup ones. I'm not sure if that's a complete set or if it's just random ones. She also picked up this book of sticky notes, which will last me quite a long time in marking my finished pages. And next up, she got me the Crayola Colors of the World, the 24 pack, which I believe is the biggest one. So I'm really glad to have these. I have the previous multicultural ones, which had 12, I think, in it. And I use those a lot, so these added skin tone colors will be great. And she also got me this set of Stettler Ergo Soft Aquarelle colors. So I've actually heard that these are pretty good. So it's a second-hand set that only this one is a bit low. The pencils, I don't believe they have colors, numbers, or anything on them. No, it says made in Germany, Stettler Ergo Soft Aquarelle. Well, it may have a number on the back because it says 156-23. So if these all say 156, that means it's what brand the pencils are. Let me get another one. I should start with, 156-16. Okay, so the number after the dash is the numbers of the pencils, so that's good. These have a barcode on them, so there's a good chance they're available open stock somewhere. So yeah, I've got to get those sorted out and swatched. I really want to get into using my watercolor pencils again. I was doing really well a few months ago. Well, maybe before Christmas. And she also got me the Stained Glass Coloring for Everyone book. And these are single-sided stained glass pictures of all sorts of varieties. This is a Skyhorse Publishing book. Still going through the books that she passed on to me. The Colors of Newfoundland and Labrador by Bobby Pike. So this has all the tourist spots and pictures to color. It's all sorts of scenic scenes around Newfoundland and Labrador. So a nice locally printed book. Got a couple of the Kappa color by number books. I got the one with the fish on the front. I have a few of these, but not all of them. I don't have that one. And then this is just one of the Kappa Creative Adult Coloring, and it's just got patterns in it, which I like, so that's good. Then there is Mythical Creatures by Elaine Hill. This is kind of like a clip art book rather than a coloring book, but the pages are double-sided and easily can be colored. I like Mythical Creatures coloring books. The paper is really smooth, so it's good marker paper. The only problem is that they're double-sided, so I'll have to make a decision about those. So this, yep. And then just a adult coloring book, Stress Relieving Patterns. So again, this is a pattern book, and I enjoy doing patterns, and mandalas in here as well. So all sorts of yummy goodness for the pattern lover, single-sided. That's a good one. Also was able to find a copy of Rachel Reinhardt's Botanical Wonderland. So this I'm absolutely thrilled with. It was on my wish list, and don't believe it's colored in at all. So yeah, I've been wanting that one, so very nice. Also got a Pokemon color by number. It's one of those math ones where there's a math equation and you color the ones, the answers, the certain colors. So this is a little bit of a different thing for my collection, which I think suits well in my color by number collection as something a little different. Also got the magazine Coloring Easter with 47 pictures, and this is the April 28, 2018 edition. So we've got patterns, and they're not just Easter, they're spring-ish, single-sided. It's kind of patternish and doodly type stuff. Also got the Star Wars Ultimate Paint Box Activity Book by Bendon. So this has a bunch of things in it besides the pictures, but they're single-sided. So they've got some double spreads in here as well. And I think that's kind of how they do it. This has got a lot of new stuff in it, which I don't know, but excuse me. Let me have a sip of my water. I always get gravelly when I record. I don't know what's up with that. So yeah, I'll be coloring the pictures like this, the ones that I know, because I'm a old school Star Wars fan. The ones I saw in the theater in the 70s and 80s. The next book is a private joke between my sister and I. This is not a book I'll color in, but I will keep it in my collection because of the private joke that it represents. So yeah, there's these faces that you're supposed to add the stickers to and then color. Who knows, I might do a couple in there, but basically that's just a private joke between us. And then the last thing that I received from her was Art Nouveau Fashion, a Creative Haven book. This is by, looks like the first page or so has been cut out of it, but here we go, Mingju Sun. So not sure if all the pages are in there. Well, actually I know they're not because the title page isn't here. But anyways, it's pretty full and it hasn't been colored in. I think that might be my first Mingju Sun book, or I may have another one. So the next thing I bought is like extremely special to me. This is Legendary Landscapes Coloring Book Journey by Witek Radomski and Carrie Wong. This is a Canadian published book. I have there's a second book called Legendary Wonders or something like that. The title is similar but different. And I absolutely love it. It kind of reminds me a bit of Lizzie Mary Cullen. And this book has been out of print for years. And it's been one of those books that I've been waiting to, get a secondhand copy. But all of a sudden on my wish list, this showed up as having new copies available for $24.99. So I rushed over there and I bought one. And see, these are all landscapes, and some of them are realistic and some of them are not, but they all kind of have that, well, some of them have that Lizzie Mary Cullen feel to them, and I also think that they're perfectly acceptable pictures to color off colors. You could color the skies black and put them in space, and yeah, there's a lot of wonderful imagery in it. They're done by a handful of Canadian artists, which are listed at the back. It tells you who. You have the artists here, and then it tells you who colored what, who illustrated which pictures. So this is a gem for my collection. So next up is the latest in the Coloring Heaven books, at least for subscribers overseas. This is the last one we received. Now, I have every single book that Fabiana Attanasio has illustrated, so this complete book, I have all these pictures. So that's a downside to me. But on the other hand, they're all single-sided, so it would give me a chance to do some of her pictures in alcohol markers, to give that a try. So there's the good and the bad with it. I'm not mad at it. It's perfectly acceptable because I like the art, and I may color in that. Okay, then I purchased Deborah Muller's latest book, Dragon Life, and I've printed out it's a big book, so I've printed 4 images per page, double-sided, so I can have a look at which picture I want to do and then go to my files and print it out on the appropriate paper. I'm also starting to get an interest in Marjorie Sarnett. I haven't colored any of her stuff yet, but it is starting to tune in to me. I like the patterns of the pages. The animals can be colored fanciful colors, which is what I like doing because I don't like doing realistic animals. And this is a gorgeous book. So, love it. That book is new this year. I finally got myself a Carpets Stained Glass Color by Number. I do have the one color book. Not too sure what I'm going to do with it because this is the one I'm going to do. I wish I could do giveaways, but I would have to do Canada only, and there aren't that many people around to enter into it, and yeah. And then another treasure for my collection is I've started to collect the art therapy books. Now they're available in several languages. The ones I've seen are English, French, Spanish, and Arabian. I don't care which language I get these in. I'm just looking to get a collection of them before they're no longer able to be found. So this one is Celtic Designs, and it's lovely. It's illustrated by Michel Soliac. And look, we have the Celtic patterns galore. These are just fantastic pictures. Yeah, I love this book. Oh, and the next book is another one that my sister got me. A few of these books were every other month we give each other a gift from our wish lists. It was her turn for March. At the end of March she bought it, so this was my March book, and then at the end of April I sent to her. So this is Tangle Magic by Jessica Palmer, and this is the large format edition. This book and two others called Tangle Something. I have one of them, which I think is Tangle Bay, and they were originally kind of like about 8-inch squares, and the magic one has gone out of print and is quite expensive, but it's been republished in a large format edition, and yeah, it's really nice. It's just a variety of different pictures. Some of them are double spreads, a lot of them are single. There's wreaths and mandalas and images, and you know, it's a typical type of mainstream published book where you get a variety of different types of pictures, and I think they're just absolutely adorable. And the other book that she sent me for my present was Sorcières, and this is from the Petit Carré Art Therapy series from Hachette Loisirs. So there's a set of books that are this size, which is about 8 by 8, and French ones, all sorts of different topics. They also have Disney ones. But I'm interested in the adult books that Hachette puts out. So Sorcière, and this is all full of sorcerers. Some mythical creatures. Well, I guess most of it is kind of mythical. We've got witches and warlocks and black cats and mythological creatures and just kind of like magic-y pages and all sorts of goodness to color. So I think that's 100 images. I don't see it below, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Oh, and the author of this illustrator is Christophe Alexis Perez. He's a very popular author, illustrator for the Hachette books. He's recently put out quite a few Disney ones. Now this is a book that I picked up. It wasn't on my wish list, but as I was browsing, I found that it was only $6, and its regular retail price is $17.50. So I had to get it because it's the adult coloring book for bibliophiles, and I'm a big book lover. So what this does is, so it's called see if I can say this word, Abecedarium, which is the alphabet. And now I'm showing it you backwards, but it goes in order, and it gives you 2 examples of illustrated letters, and it gives you some information on where that letter came from. Most of them are medieval books. So that was M. Now we've got two L's. We have two K's. That one's kind of weird. So is that. Those are weird for K's. And J's, I's, and so on. So it's a very interesting book, which is going to be interesting to read, as well as color. These are going to be a lot of fun. Might use watercolors on these. Oh, sorry. Keep forgetting to tell you who they're by. It's by Smithsonian, but here we go. The illustrators are Morgan Aronson and Lila Veckerdy. And it's a Smithsonian book. Then, a book that I have been dying for Color Questopia to put into a black background. And so as soon as this came out, I had to grab it up. So it's the Chibi Girls. I do have the white line version of it, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But yes, love. Then the next thing I got was a 120 pencil case to put my Brute Fooner 120s in. So this is just a U-Shares pink pencil case. I have a lot of these. I'm not really concerned about the colors because there's only basically 4 basic colors available for us at the lowest price. They've started giving us fancy ones, but okay, so now I have a book that was sent for review, so we'll be getting a flip of this right away. This is by Debbie Densham, and it's Floral Mandalas, Folk Art Style. Beautiful hand-drawn mandalas with color palette suggestions. So this is printed on the premium glossy paper. So it is a pretty book because the back of the pages are multicolored pastels, and you get these wonderful folk art style mandalas, and at the bottom there is a color palette. Now, at first I was a little iffy when I saw this palette, but I decided to embrace it, and I'm going to be matching the colors and doing my mandala. So it's kind of like a color by number, but it doesn't give you the numbers, it gives you the palette, and you put them wherever you want. So this is the one I did. That's the first one. It turned out really nice, and I like how the back looks on the colored paper. So yeah. Now I've got some overseas books that I want to show you. First of all, I placed an order with Amazon Japan. And the first thing I got was, since I was placing an order, I decided to get the 12 pastel set of Holbeins so that I could check them out and see if they would, push. What does that mean? Okay, push, okay. There, it popped it. So, these are the 12 colors you get. I think that's a nice handy assortment. You've got, there's no red, but there's the pink, orange, yellow, green, and blue, and purple. So, yeah. You got all the basic colors there to work with. So I haven't tried them out yet. I'm going to swatch them. And then I'm going to keep them on my table so that if I ever need a lighter color with whatever set I'm using, because sometimes I find that there's a lot of colored pencils don't have the light colors, like the polychromos. They have very few really light colors. So when you're trying to do a 3-color blend, your light is not, often for me, the light is not light enough. So having a set of pastels is a good is a good thing for that. Now, the rest of my Japan order, I started off by getting myself some color by number books, and I love them. So the first one I got is a Mickey Mouse one. I don't know the exact title because I haven't looked it up yet. But what I do is with foreign books is I translate the title and then I write down what the English equivalent would be. Sometimes you have to move the words around and cut out the, relaxing book for color therapy, whatever. So this is Mickey Mouse one, and it is in squares and rectangles. So some of the pages are a grid like you would normally expect, and some of the pages are done in a brickwork fashion, so that the squares don't lay on top of each other. They're like bricks, like brickwork. So I'm not sure how those will turn out if people want to do X method. I think they would turn out a bit funny. But I'm looking forward to trying to color it. This one on the front is a brickwork one that they're showing us. So nothing to show you because they're just blank pages, but at the beginning they have a practice one for you to do. Now this next one is, the Japanese call these type of books puzzle coloring, puzzle color, or color puzzle. And this one is traditional color by numbers with the numbers up at the top, so you can tell what your picture is. I did this one. I had a little bit of issue with the paper. I don't think my alcohol markers worked that great. So I started off with just my normal Ohuhus, but they bleed too much for this paper because they're thin lines, not thick ones. So I changed to my permanent markers, Sharpies and Bics and so on. And I think that part turned out much better. So I think the next one I'll try just using the the Bics and permanent markers. So when you look at these, you basically can tell what they are. Like this is a frog and a lily and lily pads. They're single-sided, so you can use alcohol markers, or as I'm going to see if the permanent markers work best. And that's a Japanese kite. These are two of the lucky cats. And this is some masks. So all very Japanese type of pictures in here, mostly. So yeah, there's a lot of pages in here. And the paper is thick, like really thick. I'd call that card light cardstock. So I'm not sure how many, unless this 30 means 30 pictures. Yeah, so that's a nice big oversized book as well. And the other one I got is by, her name is something like Claire Montpellier or something like that. And I've seen, her books were on Amazon Canada, but they're all impossible to get. I've ordered them and then got a refund because the books never arrived. And so I'll show you what this one is like. I did the first paper, the first page. So this one is called Fantasy Landscape or something like that, or Fantasy Lands. And first of all, because of the way the paper was, I thought, oh, these will work with the super tips. So I used those for this picture, and I wasn't satisfied with how it came out. The super tips really didn't work the same way they do on the French Coloriage Mystères, and I kind of thought this paper was similar. So I gave up on the super tips. And then the next one, I used my permanent markers, and it turned out beautiful. I absolutely love this. So these ones are secrets. You know, maybe you can make out a little bit, but looking at them straight on with the eye, like I can see that that's a sun or moon, but that's all. It comes with a book catalog. I see a face there. So, you know, they're basically mysteries. Can't tell what that is. So that's what it is throughout the book. Yet these, the paper is not as thick as the last book I showed you, but still a nice, thick, decent paper. So anyways, this is a mook, and Japanese mooks are serial, like a magazine. Here's what the finished pictures look like. It's like a magazine. It comes out every month or every other month, or you know, there's a regular pattern for them coming out. But it's more like a book than a magazine. And for some reason, the Japanese have merged the word magazine with book, and they call these mooks. So very interesting. If you're looking at books and it says something like Cosmic Mook, that means it's one of these, a mook, published by Cosmic. There's a lot of those by Cosmic, that's why I said so. I don't think this one is. But yeah, I absolutely adore that one. I'm so glad I got it. She has two others, and I'm going to get those as well. The next thing I got was the Colors Make You Happy Book 2 and 3. Book 1 didn't quite appeal to me, but 2 and 3, and I think this is 2, and the next one is... No, I think the next one... This one is 3, and this one has a fairy tale theme. And it's just your usual assortment of pictures with, you know, designs. There's a Wizard of Oz and a little matchbook girl. You know, you get patterns like this, you get individual images, you get kind of a, you know, disjointed page where there's an object with things around it. So wide variety. This also comes with a little magazine. So a wide variety of different types of pictures, and I said this one is fairy tale themed, so I'm really pleased with this book. And they're by Miki Takei. And so this is book number 2. I don't know what its theme is. I haven't translated the title completely yet. I should have done that before I did the haul, but when I do complete flip-throughs of these, I will have their English titles. So this just seems to be kind of a hodgepodge of things. It's got a bit of a fairy tale idea to it. You know, here's something that looks like Aladdin. But then this page is some sandals and some shells and stuff making a pattern. Got circle pictures, got this. And then there's a couple of Christian imagery pages, which I like. I especially love the Our Lady picture here. You know, and then you get a dragon. So, yeah, wide variety of pictures and images in this. I love it very much. And again, that's by Miki Takei. Just going to have a sip of my pop. And the next book I got is This is part of a set. There's 4 of them. I'm not sure who it's by because it doesn't say in English, but I'll get that information for the complete flip through. But its title here is called Coloring Book of Traditional Japanese Designs. Oh, here we are. Patterns and Motifs by Season. And there's 4 by the same illustrator, and they all have a little bit of a different pattern or designs theme to them all. So this is the latest one, and no, yes, it is. This is the latest one. So I thought I'd start with it before I went back to the other 2 and see what I thought. And I just absolutely love it. So there's thumbnails of everything at the back. And then we get some images along with the patterns. And the patterns are all traditional Japanese ones, like these. So a wide variety. There's kind of like a traditional pattern. There's kind of like what people call a wallpaper pattern. A circle pattern. Just some flowers. So yeah, it's really, really nice. I really like it. Look, there's a traditional pattern, and this one does too. It has all different patterns here, while it's got some traditional Japanese instruments in it. Really cool book. I love it a lot. If you like doing patterns and flowers, then yeah, this book would be for you. It's not Zentangly, but it is patterned. It's a very nice book. And then the last book I got from my Japanese order was actually the one that I wanted to buy. So this is the Ken Matsuda coloring book. And this is absolutely gorgeous. It's kind of a Kirby style images where we have an animal, and they all have like flowers or something from nature growing on them. When I first saw people working in this book, I thought, ooh, that's too intricate for me. But then I started seeing people actually coloring the pictures, and they're not when you really look at them. There's a lot of pen and ink shading on these, so it can help you out with that, with doing the main animals. So you don't have to be too worried about doing realistic fur. You just can kind of do a faux fur by, you know, using the shading spots in there. If fur intimidates you like it does me. So there's just a wide variety of things. Like this one has some insects on it. But mostly they're flowers or leaves that are kind of like embedded into the animal. So, you know, a take on Kirby's morphing idea. But there's a lot of artists who are, I guess, kind of like students of him, who have gone and taken the morphing of animal and non-animal together and have presented it in their own ways. So I really love this book. It's gorgeous. I think it'll be a little while before I actually work in it, because this is one of those books, and sometimes I have quite a few of those books where they're ones I have to look at a lot before I start coloring in them. So I'll be browsing through this a lot and watching people color pictures out of it, and at some point in time I will find that it's time for me to dive into it. So I'm missing something. Excuse me, it's just on the other side of the room to finish my sentence. Here I come. So, I got these Chinese chibi. Oops. Sorry for my squeaky chair, but that's the way it is. So, first of all, put these over here. First of all, I got the original 3 chibi books. You've seen these before, but I'm going to do a flip of them on my channel anyways, because I kind of eventually want to have a flip of every book I own on there, on my channel, just to help out the archive of flip-throughs for people looking specifically for books. So I'm going to try and translate this and see if my camera translation works, because I'm finding it doesn't work all the time. So yeah, this was the original one, and they all come with these fold-out poster things. It's watercolor paper, and it shows every chibi in the book, so you could color your chibi in there and then come find her on here and color her the same colors if you want. It opens out again, so it's very long. It looks nice on the wall. Of course, you could do this in watercolor too, or watercolor pens would be nice since it's in watercolor paper. And also, Chinese books are bound like this, so the spine is not attached, and this type of binding, which is sewn together and then reinforced with a layer of glue, these bindings are not going to come undone with regular use. And this is called the Coptic stitch. I've actually sewn some books myself when I was doing altered books using this method, and it's a lay flat method. These books could be considered single-sided, since the back of them just has some Chinese writing. So you could very well use your alcohol markers on these. Personally, I think the lines are too thin for me wanting to use markers on this. I think these are definitely pencil books for me. So I got the red one. So let me put the thing back in here. And then the blue one. It's the first time I'm opening it, so you hear that sound as it was kind of glued a little bit to the top line here. So there we have the Coptic stitch binding again. Very good quality. These pages are, oh yeah, I'd call that light card, definitely. So yeah, you can use any kind of material in these. The paper would definitely hold up to water mediums as well. And this is the third one, so I'm sure they all have different themes or titles, or, well, yeah, definitely different titles, but you know what I mean. So then I got the new set of ones that came out, and they're a little different. First of all, they have this one, which is not Chibi Girls. Instead, it is Japanese demons called yokai. And I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but from my knowledge of Japanese letters, sounds, they're called yokai. Kind of like kawaii, these are yokai. So these are all demons on each page. And I've read some manga that was all about yokai, so I have a fondness for these. Again, the backs have a little picture you might want to color if you're using pencil, but you could also use these definitely as alcohol ink, and you know, that's not really of that much importance on this side, so your own discretion, though I feel I'll be using pencils for these books. Then the next ones are chibi books, but these books do not come with the poster. They do have some colored pictures in them though, which I believe are of pictures in the book. So you get these nice sections like that. And then, let's see, where pictures start. So you get little mini pictures of them. Here we go. So on the backs of these, we have, is that the same picture? No. So we have a picture to color. So again, like the other one, you can make your own decision on whether you don't care about that and you'll use your markers, or if you want to use your pencils, you can actually color in the picture on that side to go with this one. And the last one is a chibi one too. I believe this one though has a fantasy theme to it. So we've got fairies and, you know, people with horns and all sorts of kind of fantastical or magical types of things. And this one is presented in the same way. We have our background, which you're going to have to decide if you want to keep it or if you don't mind it. And again, no poster. But that's the third set, which I haven't seen around too much. So I'll probably put the full flip-throughs of these up first before the other ones. So just a couple of more things left. This was a pre-order for me. I pre-ordered it way back in like February or something. It just sounded fantastic. So once I saw people getting it, I was like, wow, because I think people in Europe got it before we did. Everybody's seen the pictures in here. So they're, at first I thought they were daunting, but they're not. They're not at all when you look at them. The mythographic books are much more daunting than these pictures. So if you can do mythographics, you can do this, no problem. It's got nice paper, and it's by Melpomene Chatsapenagitu. I'm going to learn to say that properly without stumbling over it. Then, I think we have 3 left. Color Questopia came out with a couple of black background books, and I picked them up when they came up. This one is mandalas, which is going to be a lot of fun. I love doing mandalas, and color by number mandalas are quite fun. And the other one was a reprint of an old book that they redid with a black background. So I'm trying to collect all the black background ones, but I haven't got them all. It will take a while because I don't buy every one as soon as it comes out. Some I do though. So this is Cats and Kittens, and this has the old color palette on it, which is very simple. So yeah, nice. And finally, the last book that I got was from a third-party seller that, and is, my foot is stuck in wires, and is a book that I used to have, but I decided I didn't want it. And for the last couple of months, I have been regretting desperately giving up this book because I have become quite interested over the last I don't know, might even been a year or so. Somewhere between a year and 6 months, I've become really interested in mythological creature coloring books. So I just had to have this because this is one of the creme de la creme books. It's a hardcover. The corners are a little scuffed, but that's just from shelfware. And it is a second-hand book, illustrated by Angela Rizza. I think most people have seen the format of this book. It's quite big to put on the camera. On this side, you get a big picture of one or several of the animals. And on this side, I believe it tells you what's on this page. Yes, it does. So on the back, it tells you what type of legend they come from, where, what countries, and a little bit about the animals. So this is really, really nice information to have. And then you have your big picture to color on this side. Sometimes it is one big picture, and other times it's just a listing of the different creatures. So I'm really glad to have this back in my collection, and I will not ever be giving it away again. I'm really pleased with the condition of it for a second-hand book. It only has scuffed corners, which you can pretty much expect from a used hardcover book. If it's belonged to somebody and been on their shelf, it gets scuffed from pulling it on and off the shelf. And my friends, that is all the haul that I got in April. And it was quite a large one, but I didn't order everything in April. A lot of that stuff is from overseas, and I've been waiting a month or two for them, so they all kind of arrived in April. So yeah, so that's how that happened. So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I hope that you enjoyed seeing my haul. I hope you found some books that are new to you, or got to see a book that you've been wondering about. I will be doing full flip-throughs of all of those books sooner or later, but if there's one that you've seen that you would particularly like a flip-through of, then let me know, and I will put it on top, and I will be doing it sooner rather than later. So yeah, give me the request if you want to see it. So that's all I have for you today, folks, and I'm going to say toodaloo. So until next time, bye!